Hello and welcome to the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. I'm your host, the Whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Minds, and this is Black Minds News. Black Minds News is to report, articulate, translate, communicate, insinuate, develop, investigate, unveil, decode, spread the news, whether by news, video, website, or quotes from publications. As I articulate this information, I ask that the creator of the universe be here, heart, soul, mind, and spirit. Because why? The truth don't need no partner. As a descendant of the greatest people who created this place that we call the United States, we, the foundational black Americans, the bloodline historical lineage, the historical people known as slaves, we who call ourselves BADOS, Black American Descendant of Slaves. Some say Black African Descendant of Slaves. Others say American Descendant of Slaves. We, the today's children, offspring, and present generation, we give honor to our ancestors. You know, the motto of my show is, I'm never gonna tell you what I heard, I'm only gonna tell you what I know. Today's date is September the 23rd, 2019. Did you hear? Up in Florida or down in Florida, a situation took place where a toddler, an infant, just getting in school, about 6 years old, had a bad day. Now, everybody is adult. Have you ever had a bad day? Have you just had a bad day where it just feel like you ain't really trying to be at work, you ain't trying to hear no bullshit, you're just trying to get through the day so you get back and try to get, maybe you have some sleep deprivation, maybe a lack of sleep. You know what they say, not enough sleep make a person cranky and irritable. Regardless of what age you might be, other people react in different ways. But when we look at the children, and the child, again, those who are adults, grandparents and so forth, you know when a child is irritable and they get to that point that you just have to make them either go take a nap, right? Or you might have to do a little bit of, let's say, little corporal to get them to get to the sleep bar, right? But what happens when a situation, when the little one goes to school and has a bad day? Maybe it started off with a little infraction with somebody else that spilled onto an adult, and they reacted in a certain way. Now again, you expect children to be reared from at home, and a lot of people will say that. But even in certain situations that are unbeknownst and uncontrollable to the child, it may respond accordingly. So you, as let's say the administrators, the educators, the disciplinarians, isn't it your job to assess the situation and realize what measures need to be taken properly to remedy the situation? Or do we go to the extreme, even though you can play the game and do it, and they might do it any damn way? Well, that's what it looked like that happened here over up in Florida. So let me go ahead and get into this, and let me stay once again. This is the most hated show on the black corner of black YouTube, and I'm your host, and stay tuned for this broadcast. Hey, how's y'all doing? Again, this is your host, Mr. Blows Your Minds, and welcome to Black Minds News Report. First and foremost, I want to say what's good to my fam, subscribers, old and new. Thank you for whenever you have time to come over here to try to find out what we talk about here on Black Minds News. We think you kindly take my hat out, promenade to you. Thank you, each and every one of you, for your passers-by. If you happen to pass by and the thumbnail caught your attention, or maybe the title got you and you come over here, welcome to the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. Now, Mr. Buggy, how could you say that? Well, we've been in the business for 7 years, have 2.94 thousand subscribers, but we can't get past 40 views, right? Used to get 250,000 plus views, 50,000, 30,000, 20,000, you name it, we was getting it. For some odd reason, what is it that we say that I know that other shows are very kind of like, but be cousins and related as the same kind of work that I do, they do the same and they seem to thrive. They thrive without any problems. But what is it that I say over here that makes everybody else a little bit? So again, go down the aisle. It's always a grand opening. See something you might like. Hit the like button. You should happen to see something that make you feel some kind of way. Remember, the motto of the show is the truth don't need no partner. Now, let me go ahead. Let me go and do this for you, right? Because, again, it just seems that, let me go ahead and let me play it for you. So let me go ahead and do this for you. Let me go ahead and read this to you right quick, and we should be right back after I get done. Check this out. Hold on. Florida 6-year-old arrested, handcuffed for elementary school tantrum. You know I'm going to say that again. Florida 6-year-old arrested, handcuffed for elementary school tantrum. This story is coming out of the New York Post, September the 22nd, 2019, and this is how it reads. 6-year-old Florida girl was arrested, cuffed, and fingerprinted after she threw a kicking tantrum in her Orlando elementary school class, and grandma is not happy. She was charged with battery. A stunned Marilyn Kirkland told NBC affiliates WFLA TV of her granddaughter Kaya. The girl suffers from sleep apnea, a condition she is working on managing through medication, and was acting out from sleep deprivation, the grandmother said, and never should have been hauled off from her Orlando elementary school in handcuffs. The girl's grandmother said she was horrified to learn Kaya was arrested Thursday after she kicked a staff member at the Lucious and Emma NIXON Elementary Charter School. The pint-sized perp was cuffed and driven 8 miles to Orlando Juvenile Detention Center, where she was fingerprinted and had her mugshot taken, the report said. Kirkland said she received a call from someone at the elementary school informing her that the tot was in police custody. What do you mean she was arrested? Kirkland remembers saying during the unbelievable call. He said there was an incident and she kicked somebody and she is being charged and she is on her way. No 6-year-old child should be able to tell somebody that they had handcuffs on them and they were riding in the back of a police car and take it to juvenile center to be fingerprinted, mugshot, Kirkland said. Kaya was one of 2 children arrested that day. The other, an 8-year-old tot, and an internal investigation is ongoing, according to local news website
A 6-year-old Florida girl was arrested at school by an Orlando school resource officer. She was charged with battery, and her grandmother says when she got the call, she couldn't believe it.
I said, what do you mean she was arrested? Say there was an incident and she kicked somebody and she's being charged. No 6-year-old child should be able to tell somebody that they had handcuffs on them and they were riding in the back of a police car and taken to a juvenile detention center to be fingerprinted, mugshot.
That is just heartbreaking to hear. Marilyn says Kaya did act out, but she was likely tired from sleep apnea. But says what the resource officer did just took things way too far. Now that school resource officer is under investigation. The police department says he broke policy when he arrested the 6-year-old.
All right, so we back up down in Florida. We see a 6-year-old was arrested, said for kicking someone. Right, had a bad day at school. Maybe start off again with another classmate. Teacher intervened, and again we don't know all the ins and outs because again maybe even little Kaya might have been in the right. And based on her not having the total understanding and articulation to say, hey, you wrong and you picking on me, she lashed out maybe, right? Accordingly, that the grandma said that she's on medication for sleep. She has an apnea, which is sleep deprivation, right? Meaning she has a problem sleeping, but that's kind of young. Again, 6 years old. So also could be in the mind we could look at is the fact that maybe the medication that they gave her that she's taking can be off. Because again, I had a job once upon a time. I did some things, then again, know that I'm doing with medication with people. And when they alter the medication or they tweak the medication, the people on it can have reactions and outbursts, right? Matter of fact, they use the word what? Tantrum. So, as a swordsmith, Mr. Bad Blows Your Mind going to tell you, when you talk about tantrum, you're talking about an outburst, an outbreak, an eruption, burst, right? A flare up, an explosion, a blow up, fumes, temper, rage, fury, agitation, to pucker, fit. What about convulsion? What about spasm, a seizure, an attack? Right? So those things could be also related to the medication, right? Maybe somebody tweaked the medication. Plus, a child at that age, 6, again, those who have children know about their grandchildren, so forth. Children can become irritable. And when they become irritable, you as the grown person should be able to assess that and understand sometimes when you see that pattern, you're like, you need to go take yourself a nap, right? You better go take you a nap. You better go sleep that off, right? And so that's what kind of, so and again, when you're in school, they don't have that. Maybe again, I remember some times ago, you used to be able to take a nap. And when you was in kindergarten, they made you take a nap after you get snack time, you sit down, you take this little nap and then get back up and they got you doing some stuff. Today, it ain't about all so much play. Everybody trying to inculcate you so you could be a better slave, right? And so what we see is that from this ordeal, that little Kaya, the 6-year-old girl, the teacher calls what they said the resource officer. I'm trying to figure out why they say resource officer. I'm thinking about resource. I'm talking about some money. Somebody, getting money. Somebody trying to get, you understand? So you got a resource officer, and look what he ended up doing when we also kind of, again, those who are BADOS and ADOS, they talk about the pipeline to prison, right? So look at this. 6-year-old acting out. Okay, again, maybe unruly. Again, showed out a little bit. Maybe did some things that was not within the proper protocols of a child. But sometimes, again, she's 6. Don't condone, because again, what I'm saying, some people might hear me say, I'm trying to condone with that. No, I'm not condoning, but I'm saying you got to also be a devil advocate on both sides. Again, that's the problem with, I think, with this country is, again, a lot of times you only unilateral. You only see your perspective. You don't see both sides of the street. So that's why we on this side, we see your side and we understand our side. You lack about the understanding from our position, and that's why you think that we always complaining and bitching and moaning. But the point is, that's what it is. So anyway, again, the teacher, again, maybe she doesn't have problems with her. Again, we don't know how many times. Again, we know the story. I'm going to tell you so much. But again, let's just say, from based on what we see, this that first time this doesn't happen. So the teacher calls the resource officer. He comes up. His assessment should be, first is to get the situation under control, right? She's 6 years old. Okay. All right. So maybe, it's, you say kicking. I ain't hearing about screaming, yelling, cussing, fussing. I heard her kick a teacher, but again, it's kind of like with police. They embellish, again, to justify what they end up going to do, right? So you got to say that. Maybe it could have been a brush off. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you was grabbing her in the leg, flung up and kick, and you going to say the kick. It could be a whole lot of things, right? So here's the resource officer. What he does, he handcuffs this little girl. Right? Think about that. So all these impressionable minds at 6 years old, this is like soft clay. Everybody in that classroom has a mind like soft clay. Meaning you can mold and bend accordingly to, again, how you inculcating. And again, prior to me coming on again, I seen something that it was just, again, Shorty was watching something and I happened to just catch what he was watching. And it had this one little scene. I guess the creator say, I want you to add this today. Check this out. So it was something he was watching, and on there it had a little blue, some kind of dial, and had an orange one, and it had a little black girl, right? And they were sitting there talking about the uniqueness of each one and their color, right? So they were trying to color each other, or they was trying to draw and color each one of themselves. So they was looking at the crayon like, okay, because I ain't blue, I guess I have to use blue crayons, right? So blue with blue, and my dad and we're blue, so I guess blue. Yeah, we have to go blue. The other one was orange. I'm orange, and my family were orange, and so when the black girl come, had a picture of 3 in the picture. Now they didn't show the other one; they showed the 3, and guess what they showed? The father. She said, "Well, I'm gonna cut." Now she didn't use black. You would think black or brown. Kind of an orange. They kind of said kind of an orange, right? They didn't go with the color. They said, well, my dad, me, and then when it went to the mom, got the white crayon and colored in the white mom, and then the other 2, the orange and the blue, said, "Oh, you're like a rainbow." Yeah, I'm like a rainbow. All right. So right there, somebody said, well, what are you talking about, Mr. Blue? See? The inculcating of education is to slyly throw in something subliminal that you, because you're not there every day, you're not seeing what they're doing. But just what I was seeing that the shorty was watching, and I caught that little bit. I was like, oh, so they inculcating this color thing on you again about this mix. See, you couldn't be a solid color. You couldn't be solid. You had to be. Again, I done told you, those who've been watching this show, again, there's a book called The Golden Stool, right? Missionaries that was in Africa with the ACAN, they was doing all that stuff. And they said, black man would never be acceptable until he become a black white man. I'm going to say that again. Black man, anyone, man, woman, child, you would not be accepted by white folks until you become a black white person. So in that little bit that I just caught, guess what? That's what they had just won in that right there. So again, now I'm going to take you back into this classroom. Again, the girl irritable. Again, they be wondering why a lot of times boys don't stay in these schools and they be dropping out because why? You're bored. You don't see yourself, right? Now you can watch these cartoons and stuff with your child, grandchild, and see the stuff. You don't see no black boy. They have to see the little black girl, white kid, and everything else, and some little animal color, but they don't see themselves, right? So who to say that this little girl is some way in her own DNA is rejecting some of the stuff that's being done, acting out? Now, we're not condoning that, but again, you don't know. You don't have the understanding, again, the articulation to say what really the problem is because you're too young. You still got to go through the stripes and torns so that you can come later and say, I was in grade school and this teacher woo-woo-woo and this nonsense she was teaching us. So, anyway, getting back to it is the fact that she lashed out. Tantrum. We don't know all. It could be, the grandmama saying, okay, hey, she got a good case because she's saying medically this is what it is. And that can associate with the fact that she acted out. Covered. She getting that. They're going to cut that check. So don't worry about all that, sister. But anyway, so here it is. Resource officer decide to handcuff. Now again, everybody's impressionable. Saul Clay. So just like I just gave you the analogy of talking about them sitting down with the color, now they put in the mind of fear with the handcuffs, and also look what they did to the reputation of this little girl. This little girl with the people that's pretty much going to go all the way through her to grade school, up to maybe some of them was still with her in high school and so forth. Always going to remember. You remember, Kaya, when you got arrested that time? Huh? And you never know, as I go on, we're going to talk about some more about this, right? So here it is. You put that, and then by you doing that again, they said pictures 1,000 words, right? So in the minds of the little ones, when they seen the handcuffs, and we don't understand, we don't know exactly how maybe you roughed her up. It could be a whole lot. We don't see all that, right? None of the kids didn't have no phone at 6. At least not that we don't think so. But they didn't have no, so we don't see this. So again, it could have been that. So they said you paraded her in front of all those kids handcuffed, right? Put her in the back of a police car, the ordeal she has to go through. They said it took 8 miles. Huh? Who was with her while this whole ordeal was taking place? Think about it. Of all the shit we done seen, again, watching on this show here, I don't care because some motherfucker got a badge on and a gun and supposed to be here. That don't mean he can't be some pervert creep ass motherfucker. 8 miles, you don't never gonna know what happened till later in life that little girl will tell everything that happened between that 8 miles. We don't know what's been said. You understand? A lot of subliminal stuff. This here was to set a template that's going to affect her for the rest of her life. Right? And so they take her to a detention center. Wait a minute. Right? But the thing is, I'm kicking ahead, right? We're going to get there. So take her to a detention center. When they get her there, they're going to fingerprint her, right? Take her photo. How you know? And maybe they did facial recognition. How you know if they ain't took a DNA swab? See, there's some unknown factors in here that only she know if she can recall being 6, that everything she might have ordeal. So we had to just take, the happy medium and say that everything went accordingly the way that we should trust them, right? That's what we are. We got to trust that, right? So who, because they didn't even call the parent, matter of fact, according to the way the article make it sound, no one officially from the school called. It seemed someone, but not being identified who it was that called. So, do you see what they charged this 6-year-old girl with? They charged her with battery. I'm going to say that again. Battery. Now, let me tell you what battery says from a law standpoint. Battery is the intentional and wrongful physical contact with a person without his or her consent that entails some injury or offensive touching, Criminal battery, defined as the unlawful application of force to the person of another, may be divided into three basic elements. 1. The defendant conduct, acts, or omission. 2. His or could be her mental state, which may be intent to kill or injure or criminal negligence, or perhaps the doing of an unlawful act. And 3, the harmful result of the victim, which may be either a bodily injury or offensive touching. What might otherwise be a battery may be justified, and the consent of the victim may, under some circumstance, constitute a defense. So the teacher is the one pressing the charge. The actual offer to use force in the injury of another person is assault. Right? And it goes on to talk about assault. Okay, so we ain't going to talk about assault. We're going to say they said battery. Right? So they went and charged this 6-year-old with battery. Huh? Battery. Record. Huh? The whole ordeal. Right? So what culpability does the school have? Because again, as the article tried to make it sound as if like, well, based on what took place, the resource officer is now under investigation. Wait a minute. There was a lot of checkpoints before it could even got as far as it did. Let me say that again. There was a lot of checkpoints that should have been before it even got as far as it did. Who at the school, allow that situation to manifest without having the proper authority to okay it? If you're just a resource officer, most likely maybe you are off-duty police. This is your off part-time job or whatever it might be. Okay. Didn't somebody say, well, okay, let's go ahead and put her in the room and let her sit there for the rest of the day, let her air herself out. She's 6 years old. She's 6 years old. No, it seemed like there was some collaboration here. Teacher was okay with it. Now, again, this teacher, don't you have the interaction on a daily basis with this child, Kaya? Don't you have that? So what is it in you that said, yeah, take her ass in, let her go in? And maybe this was, again, want everybody else to be, again, put to some steel, because you can't really get the kind of authority you want. So it's now kind of like that. Mama said, Daddy gonna get that ass if you don't stop. You think about it. Daddy ass whooping. Okay. I'm gonna act right. I'm gonna get some act right. Right? So maybe use the situation now. What happened to Kaya? I'm gonna call Mr. Smith, officer friendly. That, and then everybody straighten up, because they don't want what happened to Kaya to happen to them, right? So again, look at the seed being planted in 6 years olds already. That's Florida. Have you noticed that always a lot of this type of shit happens in Florida more than probably anywhere else? But due to the simple fact of the BADOS in Florida, and you have the element of those who coming from the islands, that a lot of that there as well. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? They do whatever they want to do, right? And so, as the checkpoints, as I was saying, the principal where's the principal in the situation, right? Where's the administration in the office? Or let us contact her mother and let her know. Or let's see if we can get her mother to come down here and come bring her and let us send her home, right? What was wrong with, okay, if you felt it was that, okay, the situation merited for her to go there. Couldn't have been another remedy to say, okay, what we're going to do, have the mother come get you and we're going to suspend you? Why have the child go through that whole ordeal and then now they want to say he's under investigation? No, he's not the only one culpable in this situation. The school is at fault of this situation. Big time, right? So, again, they say the police department said that he broke policy when he arrested 6 years old. No, something was wrong. I think something, something wrong mentally with an individual who can't recognize that a 6-year-old that I'm going to put in a handcuff, put him in a car, I'm going to take you, fingerprint you, and all that. I'm going to put back. What is in the mind of this individual that when he sees this 6-year-old that he's trying to treat them as if this grown man, teenager? Like, I'm going to teach you a lesson you're never going to forget. And you're going to always remember me. Huh? Is this what this was about? Was that what this was about? And then they said that also that another child was arrested the same day. They was arrested by the same dude. Well, this same dude had an 8-year-old and did the same thing again. Probably he already did to Kaya. Then, yeah, there's something not right with him. Right? There's something not right wrong with you. Something about the square peg in a round head, a hole in your head. You make it fit when you know damn well that don't fit. And somehow you rationalize to say, yep, that's right. It's battery. Did you not read? Mr. Blowy, you just read what battery is. It doesn't have an age specifics to it. It's just, it says what it is. And we can apply it to whoever it does. Yes, she's 6-year-old, but that's a battery. See? But then everybody wants everybody to be sympathy and have mercy, and when it's your child and when shit happening to you. But you constantly and I keep doing these stories just because why? They're there. And this is why I'm the most hated show on the Black Corner of YouTube, because again, we do those stories. Well, some people might think this is trivial and all that race, but it constantly is doing it. And the reason why? Because the truth don't need no partner. Ain't nothing you can argue about it because it is what it is. Right? So, you tell me, looking at what you just heard and seen, how you think that situation, what you see the holes in it, what you think the remedy could have been. Again, this is Mr. Blows Your Mind, and this is Black Minds News, and I just want to bring this report to you today. And let's go ahead and get it like this. Again, I want to thank each and every one of you for your participation. Remember, when you see one another, greet each other. What's good, brother? What's good, sister? Can't do that much? At least give the universal nod. Understand the team and the players that are on your team. Yes, some players feel like they got to have allies, but you better ask them that got them allies a question or two. Ask them allies you got, if and when shit get hot, are they still gonna be in the frying pan with you, or they gonna leave your ass high and dry? True is, have you ever, this is a question you gotta ask them, have you ever heard of John Brown? Or is that just something white people told us to make us think that there's at least just one, somebody went all out trying to help black folks? Or is that just a figment of our imagination? Understand that the time that is dawning that those who are seeking for our demise, and it is incumbent that we stay vigilant, mindful, and cautious and high spirit. Again, this is the most hated show on the Black Corner of YouTube, and I'm your host, Mr. Blow Your Minds, and this has been a Black Minds News Report. To the next show, peace and love. To the next show. To the next show.